cases in Mecklenburg County today. New cases are 42, and the patients with COVID percentage is 1.5%. So we'll be doing the interview with no masks.
Mm.
Um, Ramiro, can you describe yourself, your appearance, and
My appearance, like physical appearance.
yes.
Well, my name is Ramiro. I'd say I'm Hispanic, brown skin, dark hair. I have glasses, and I'm 5'5".
All right. Where were you born?
I was born in Mexico, city of Oaxaca.
Mm. And how long have you been in Charlotte?
I've been in Charlotte since 2018. Um, Usually between August and May.
Mm. What was your experience like the last 2 years during the pandemic?
During the first year it was a surprise. I was excited hearing about, not excited about the virus going around, but more so excited about the fact that we were going to be out of school, like school was going to be online. But as the months progressed, I realized that it's not the most suitable way for me to learn. Well, that's just my opinion, but I realized it wasn't the most suitable way for me to learn. I realized that I had a lot of free time, and too much free time is not a good thing. So, like after a couple months, I just started picking up new skills, whether that be like market, like looking into the markets, learning options, learning about new things. So I try to make the most of my time during the COVID, and I'd say in like the second year portion, I'd say like I started to let go of myself. Like I wasn't so health oriented. Like I would just eat, play games, relax, not play so many sports, and then coming back, it's changed quite a bit.
Going back into the marketing, like that's the skill you learn. Are there any other like good things that happened throughout
Hmm.
the time, or other
Yeah,
skills you were able to learn, or talk about the
yeah,
marketing?
yeah. So like in terms of like market economics, there's quite a bit of information I learned. So for example, if you guys are familiar with like how options pricing is derived from like Greek, delta, gamma, and theta, and the Greek letters, I mean, and those values determine like using like the Black-Scholes model that determines the price of the option, and also like reinforced my knowledge in programming because prior to COVID, I had a internship in front end development, and then I just would practice developing websites starting from scratch using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Mm.
So I was practicing doing that over that period of time, and I'd say, oh yeah, like going back to that, I was realizing that I was starting to gain weight, so I was starting to do a little bit more exercise towards the later half of the COVID shutdown.
Mm. Were you able to apply any of those skills? Like, say, did you think about
Mhm.
going into those professions?
Yeah.
You know, I know you're a
Mhm.
biochemistry major, so
Mhm.
it's like coding or any of that. Any
Mhm.
it's an interest of yours that you'd want to go into more?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. So like currently, I'm taking a biodiversity class, and we're learning a new language called R, and it's really good. It's really good for stat analysis, and it wasn't too hard for me to pick up because it's very similar to Python. So thankfully, I was able to pick it up pretty easily, and ideally, like in the upcoming months, since I'm graduating, I'd like to pick up a front end development position
Mm.
or something in data analysis.
Do you remember or describe to me your experience when wearing a mask? You know, during the pandemic. I'm sure that
Mm.
because school was online, you didn't
Yeah,
really experience it at school. But how was
yeah,
it like uh,
yeah.
outside?
Yeah, fortunately for me, like me and my family, we live like in the countryside, so like we didn't have to worry about like wearing masks, and like especially like in some places they didn't force it. But I would rarely go out. So like the only times I would wear a mask would be when I'm going to the gym, and that's about it. Like other than that, like I would just go outside, play a little bit of basketball, some soccer. I wouldn't really leave the house that often, so I was pretty fortunate not to wear a mask that often.
Mm. How would you say your life, like the biggest change in your life since the pandemic started?
Yeah. I guess the biggest change for me would definitely have to be fitness because I realized like prior to COVID, I was pretty skinny, and then during COVID, I got fat, and after that, and now I'm just trying to build muscle and increase my strength.
Mm.
So I'd say that was the biggest lifestyle change that's happened to me.
Mm.
Also, like learning about like muscle atrophy, like the physiological effects of like strength training. It's just like learning to maintain sleep. That way, you increase your muscle mass. So like I've just been looking into a lot of anatomy stuff and physiological stuff of the human body.
I see you wrote on the hand discipline. You think um, you're talking about learning about the physiology and everything. That has more to do with you just wanting to have knowledge,
Yeah.
or you discipline yourself
Yeah.
to be able to look the best you can.
hmm Yeah, it's a combination of like because I like to learn new subjects or new materials, and also it's very beneficial in terms of like what muscle group you're targeting in the gym, just to like learn what muscle groups for like a given program or like a given exercise. You know what muscles groups you're targeting, and it's just nice to know that information when exercising.
Mm-hmm.
hmm But the discipline aspect more so applies to going to the gym every day and not slacking off.
Were there any struggles that you saw that you had
hmm
during the pandemic? And maybe it was
Yeah,
social distancing,
yeah,
maybe it was not interacting with as many
yeah,
people. Or,
yeah. I'd say the greatest challenge for me is like it kind of felt isolated from the world,
mm,
and I know a lot of people felt like that as well because we were all home, remote learning.
yeah,
It's very fortunate for those who didn't have a graduation, um, but the greatest challenge for me is like not being able to socialize with different people from different backgrounds,
mm,
getting to meet new people, work on my social skills, and I guess interacting with people in like real person. And I feel like ever since like the COVID things happened, like it's been difficult for people to interact now. It's a little bit more challenging,
mm,
but it's been beneficial for me because I've been getting out of my bubble, meeting a lot of more new people.
mm,
So it's been great.
yeah. What different places you like met people from?
So I've met a lot of people in the gyms, coffee shop, church for sure. I'm also thinking just like club activities that goes around campus or like any organization that puts on like events. I'd
Mhm.
go to those and meet a lot of new people. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And anytime I meet people, like we would do like for example, these past couple of days we've just been playing soccer
Yeah.
in the tournament, and it's been great.
Yeah. So it's definitely helped to be back on campus,
Oh yeah,
being able to
yeah for sure.
interact rather than just seeing the screen.
hmm
Yeah. I guess what did you see any struggle as well with your family? Any
mm
uh, yeah,
Yeah.
how did your family how did the dynamic
Yeah.
change?
I'd say the dynamic over that time frame where the virus was spreading, it pretty much stayed the same. Like nothing really changed. Cause like we're pretty close knit family,
Mm-hmm.
and my father would go to work, my mother would stay at home, like and me and my siblings like we would just be in our own rooms on the computer, just going to class, and anytime we got free time, we'd go outside, do a little bit of cooking, and then like relieve some pressure off my mom,
Yeah.
and I don't know, it was great because like your cousins or friends wouldn't go to school, so like you guys could just meet up, go to class together, or like sit in class together, and then you could also like after classes are done, just go outside for the day and play some sports, soccer, basketball, a little bit of football.
So you think you were able to like uh, build like share more moments, be able to
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah,
create new memories
hmm
during the pandemic?
yeah. For like in terms of like, it's very beneficial like to be with family,
Mm-hmm.
and then going off of that, I feel like too much time with family can also be a bad thing. Like like especially for us college students, like we need our own independence. Since we're growing up, we need to experience like a portion of what real life would look like
Yeah.
outside of the household. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
You think you got a boost? Say like
Mhm.
you're ahead or
Yeah.
behind after
Yeah.
all that's been happening,
Yeah.
and now you're back on campus.
I'd say if I like in terms of like education, I'm like a little bit behind, like because I skipped a year. Well, I took 2 semesters off, so I should have graduated last year, which is would have been 2022. But in terms of like growing, like in terms of health, social skills, and just like acquiring new skills, whether that be like programming or like learning a new language like French, I feel like I've grown a lot in that field.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's awesome, yeah.
Mhm.
To be able to come back and
Yeah.
just go right back up. Let's see. Any long-lasting consequences that
Mm.
you developed due to the pandemic?
No, thankfully I've only got sick once, and that was like in January of 2021,
Mm.
and I've never gotten sick since.
Mm.
I've never gotten, yeah. So thankfully everything's turned out well.
Yeah.
I didn't get vaccinated, but yeah, thankfully everything's good. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Health wise, you've been good. What about like
Mm.
I guess emotional?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you know, whenever there's something that just reminds you of that time.
Yeah.
And did that develop, or you've felt like you've been able to
Mhm.
go through it with
Yeah.
no major issues or
Yeah.
no semblance of
Mhm.
remembering?
Yeah, I feel like for me it was pretty much it's like, for lack of a better terms, like smooth sailing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like the only challenge, like I mentioned earlier, was like just like I was wanting to interact with people, like whether that be like classmates from class or the professor, or like lab mates. But it wasn't too bad. Like in terms of like long lasting effects, like I wasn't depressed or anything. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was just like in a calm state, neutral state, like observing the world, what was going on around the world, looking at the news, and just like learn like, cause it was a great time to like acquire new skills, look at the markets, see what's going on in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I focus my time on.
I forgot to ask where
Mm.
home is for you.
Yeah, so my home's in South Carolina. I'm from Charleston, so it's a pretty touristy place.
Yeah, you grew up there your whole life.
No, well, yes. So I was, like I mentioned, I was born in Mexico, and my parents brought me here like as a baby, and like this South Carolina is like all I know, because like I've never been outside of South Carolina. So coming to Charlotte, it's been a I guess eye opening experience. There's so much to do like in the city, and I like it here.
You think you'll stay here or
Mhm.
head back to South Carolina?
Yeah,
Back to
ideally
your
I like
roots?
ideally I like to stay here in Charlotte, but I do really like home, like in terms of like living in the countryside, breathing fresh air.
Mhm.
Like there not being like light pollution, so you can look at the clear sky. And I really want to stay here to like just like in terms of opportunity, and like the things there are to do here, like the combination of cityscape and landscape is what really attracts me.
Mhm.
So I want to ideally I like to stay here after graduation.
No, I think that's all.
Mhm.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for just being able to have responses to these questions.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.